Hello, book lovers. Welcome back to my channel. The season of wild winds, strange lights, and changing skies is finally upon us, welcoming March with a new video over here. I have a detailed list of books that I read in February, and so today we'll be doing a wrap up February session wherein I'll be sharing the details of all the books that I read last month. There are a couple of, I would say, full-fledged books that I read, completed version, which I'll be reviewing in detail, and then there are also short stories or short books kind of things that I read a bit here and there just to keep myself entertained as well. Personally feel that my cute and cozy mystery shelf has found a new member for itself. I'm talking about the book A Half-Baked Murder by Emily George. This is the story of Chloe, who wants to open a cannabis cafe in her earlier hometown because she wants to stay with her mom and spend more time with her because she's getting ill. So a small town bakery, but not a general bakery because people already have that in place. She wants to go a little different out of the path and want to open a cannabis cafe. But things obviously don't just start off right from there, because the last thing that she wanted to think about was a murdered body on her doorstep at the bakery. And now, even before her bakery has started, so many obstacles are coming in her path that she's giving it a second thought, and she really doesn't want to be the one convicted as a murderer for this. So she's trying to gauge in the details of the murder and trying to solve the mystery by herself. Next on the list, we have Every Heart a Doorway by Sean McGuire, which is one of my recent favorites, I would say. You will hear that a lot, but this particular book came into my radar when I saw a blog by Alexandra Roslin, and whole credit to picking this book up goes to her. She has made such a validating case that I really wanted to give this one a try, irrespective of knowing the story, what things go around. So yeah. Now, children in this book mysteriously disappear into different doorways, and they could be entering a different world altogether, like what happens in, Alice in Wonderland or Narnia and the Chronicles, the whole part series, the same concept. But this time, each world is different for each child. Most of them go into a different version of the stories and the worlds. And often at times, they often stumble back into the reality. Now, because they have seen so many things in the other world, and they want to share it with the people nearby, let's say parents, friends, and everybody. They are sharing those things, and people think they are mad or going crazy, and they are not really acceptable to the society anymore. And that's where this particular school of students comes into the place, where all such children who have wandered around here and there come to locate themselves, and they basically live their lives peacefully in here, or let's just say try to be a little peaceful. And that is what makes this story very magical and enjoyable. So I do recommend this for all the YA fantasy fans. If fairy tale retellings are something that you really enjoy, the next book on the list, Creeping Beauty by Andrea Portis, is something that you would definitely love. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it's not an ordinary fairy tale retelling, it's a twisted version of it. I actually really like the way these books are being remodeled into the recent structure. They're not so custom standard fairy tales, oh, the girl has to be this way, that way, such kind of a princess. They are basically shattering all the norms. And this particular book also is regarding a princess who basically gets into a habit of creeping out of the places back in where she realizes she just can't handle the situation anymore or thinks she's not required. She'll just tiptoe out of that place. And once tiptoeing, so she goes into the castle down tower under a room where there's just a spindle, pricks her finger and falls into a slumber. But only change is she just does not wait for a prince to come and kiss her to wake her in. She's into the dreamland. And in this dreamland, she has to defeat the actual villain, and only then she'll be able to come out of her dreams, wake up, and do the real thing. Another few books that I covered were from the Poppy Wars series, and you all know how that went down. I'll also try to link in the hop-up buffer in there for you to check in that video, or you can also just go back to my profile and check my previous video. I have listed out a detailed review of what are my thoughts and reviews regarding this series in both spoiler and non-spoiler version as well. On the list, we have Don't Let Her Stay by Nicola Sanders, which is a thriller. Yes, as summers are approaching, I really feel like reading more thrillers and mysteries for some or the other reason, which I basically cannot explain, just as the reason that I can read fantasy books all year long, irrespective of what season is going on. But anywho, this particular book is around a female protagonist who just got married to her lovely husband, had two kids, and now is adjusting to be a homemaker and live a millionaire's wife kind of a dream life where she doesn't have to work. They are self-funded and sufficient enough, so she's just getting the hang of life. But then suddenly one day, her 20-year-old stepdaughter decided to come and visit them, and now she's not letting go of her younger child, and she's being threatened that she might harm her younger child, and things are not really going very well in the house, and there's all those family drama clashes, blah 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 things happening, and amongst that somebody has to save that little baby too. Next on the list, I have When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. This is actually a thriller story, but it is one of those fictions that doesn't feel like fiction anymore. It feels like a non-fiction or a true story, or the atrocities that actually happened in the past and are now being displayed in terms of stories and fictional overcoating layers. You know what I mean? That's, I think, what this book is about. Now, talking about the story, the situation is that Brooklyn is basically habited by mostly black people, and now suddenly the white people are eyeing it for the real estate, cheap prices, and everything. But the people living in that city don't really want to sell off their land. And suddenly, what is happening is, in the name of civilization, urbanization, and growth and progress, people are randomly selling off their lands and mysteriously disappearing into nothing. And now the inhabitants of this place are finally able to understand that things are not what they seem, and there is some malicious plotting and scheming kind of thing happening just in the name of property acquisition, and only they can save their town and themselves from thinly disappearing into the air. Quick few things that I actually liked amazingly about this book: female protagonist, above 40, so no age differentiation, no body shaming or anything. She's just, healthy in her own way, doesn't really care a shit about her body weight, images, and all those things. And she's black. So there is enough representation of all those factors into this book, which makes it really interesting and engaging to read. I also read a couple of children's books and short story novellas, whatever you want to say them, those kinds of books as well, but none of them really stood out to me in terms of story perspective. However, there was one book about which I loved the illustration very much. I'll just showcase it over here, and that was it about from the reading updates point of view. But now March has hit it, and I just have the perfect book in mind to start off my summer season, and that is none other than The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. You would ask why this book? I would say why not? It's officially summer! And it's time to get a change, not just of wardrobe and your room temperatures, but also replace your hot coffee mochas with some iced coffees and lattes, and get them along with this summer special attractive book cover. And I've been meaning to read this book actually for the last month or so, but I've been just holding myself before getting started into this book, because the book is basically screaming summer on your face, and I really wanted to read this in summer. And now that it's officially summer, I think it would be the right time to put this up. I will be telling you more about this book, such as blurbs, details, reviews, and my thoughts around this, but not today. I will catch up with you very soon in my next video, so stay tuned for that. And until then, keep your coffee strong and your TBRs long. Goodbye.